The start is the start, and that's where it stays. But the end can be dealt in a number of ways. Fluent in silence from the day she was born, her heart beat a pulse that was broken and torn. No kisses from loved ones or places to play. The world that she'd touched had faded away. It slipped out her hands, and still she stood strong. She was far too young to know what was wrong. Her dad was a man with no plan but the can, a shattered reality, and from it he ran. Another day sold to his daily bender, he certainly had no voice to lend her. So the start is the start, and that's where it stays. But this little lady's was full of delays. And that's the beauty of innocence, or so they say, that everything's viewed a much rosier way. A protector from truth and of imagination, her only friend came from the radio station. They lived both together, inseparably as one. A box with a heart, as it had now become.
The 8.2
is what it always said. It woke her up and put her to bed. It lived by her side on a strap of blue string and a brown leather band for holstering. So slowly but surely the hours dwindled on, the days into months, and so on and so on. She looked a little bigger, and what was strange to see was so too did the radio, and now hung down by her knee. She dragged it where she could through fields, mud and snow, until one day it became too heavy, and its voice began to go. No longer did it talk for hours or sing songs about the sky. Instead, it just sat flickering, singing songs to make her cry. The little lady held it close. Its last breath she would fear, so much so she held closer than let out a single tear. She awoke the next morning to hear something new. The smoke she inhaled whispered 98.2. Listening again to make no mistake, she questioned the voice.
Am I really awake?
He retorted,
Well, jeez, I just don't know.
And wondered why he'd started to grow. Tricked to be trapped in that box for so long, grinding out power with which to make song. She looked in the mirror at her white, pale face as new voices crawled from all over the place.
If legendary alone.
She'd become their antenna, abused as their tuner. AM to FM, from techno to crooner. She forced out their songs, her mouth now the speaker. Her will to keep fighting dripped weaker and weaker. They were all just too many. So much sound to take in. But then came a plan that she knew was win-win. She tuned herself in to the sounds of a harp, ran down to the pond and jumped in with the carp. Her logic was clear. Electrics plus water. It would reset her head while the rest hit the slaughter. But deep underwater, something went wrong. All of the fishes were talking in song. The guppy, the pikefish, right through to the toad, each owned a voice from the little lady's unload. The powers that be had altered the score. She now had her mind, but was human no more. Not a hair on her head, neither hand, foot, nor limb. She forgot how to drown and learned how to swim. But not too soon after, lodged under a reed, sat a fat golden maggot upon which to feed. Try as she might, she couldn't compete. The line reeled her in, she'd admitted defeat. But instead of the crunch of her neck as expected, a hand seized her up as their eyes both connected. Her pupils pierced his with a sense of the sad as she realized those hands now belonged to her dad. He saw in his daughter the rarest of fish. Her elegance outshone anything he could wish. With a delicate touch, she was placed in a jar. He filled it with water to help his new star. And that's where she floated, restricted in space, watching the old man look for her face. So the start was the start, and that's where she stayed. The most beautiful little ladyfish ever made.